The honourable member from Calgary Varsity.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Chair, I'd just like to share some feedback on the budget from Calgary Varsity constituency. And I want to start off with the positives, and there are many. Our constituency is very pleased with the discipline of having a 3-year budget vision and alignment to that vision and reporting on that 3-year cycle. So kudos to the Minister. Our constituency is largely also in support of borrowing for capital with repayment plan clearly marked out. Felt like things got a little bit beyond what was expected, beyond the $5 billion a year for capital, but there is a sense that the flood costs and the infrastructure costs associated with the flood were a reasonable explanation for that. Our constituency is also the beneficiary of a lot of third-party funding for infrastructure at the University, at the Children's Hospital, at the Foothills Hospital. And they would like to have the opportunity to do even more of that with greater impact in the future. And we understand that the Ministry of Infrastructure is responsible for that, but we would also hope that the Ministry of Finance and Treasury Board would take a leadership role in that as well and set a very clear course, because there are decisions we're making now, like spending money on big roads, and Highway 63 is a very, very expensive road that needs to be built in this province. But perhaps we need to have different conversations about infrastructure. For example, some of the examples I hear from my constituents are, would we rather have more assisted living for seniors in our constituency, more youth mental health facilities, and a redirection of some of the billions that are going into Highway 63, for example, and other road infrastructure directed to those kinds of needs instead, by being able to attract third-party investors into roads and other infrastructure. So I think we see greater potential than is being realized right now. The results-based budgeting process is viewed very, very positively in Calgary Varsity because people see it as a test, it's a process, a policy tool that allows us to test value for money, especially around program spending and around the role of government and better definition. But they're asking for more information, more hard information on the outcomes of that process, and I think they would like to see it, and I think it would be beneficial for all Albertans to understand that with greater detail. One of the points in the budget that I've heard a lot about in our constituency and a lot of disgruntlement about is the Alberta Futures Fund, the $2 billion going from the Heritage Savings Trust Fund into general revenues for a purpose that is not clearly defined at this point in time. And it may just be the way our constituents are wired, but they want to understand why that money is leaving the Heritage Savings Trust Fund, which they hold very dearly, into general revenues, and would like to understand that. So that concludes my comments on behalf of Calgary Varsity. I fully support this budget and will be voting in favour of it. Thank you very much.